you ever think about what's ticking inside a driver's noggin during these laps?
All the time. It's a mix of analyzing, strategizing, and adapting. Every corner, every straight is a puzzle, and they're trying to solve it at full speed.
Let's talk rubber. Tire pressures ain't just about pumping them up and hitting the road. It's like a fine art.
Couldn't have said it better. Tire pressures can dramatically impact the contact patch, the actual bit of tire touching the tarmac. Too high and you lose temperature and grip, too low, and you risk overheating, uneven wear, or even a blowout. Each tire will have its own sweet spot where they grip best.
Richard Rossier has a best lap time of 1:34.809. Cookies has a best lap time of 1:34.757. Jack M team is not hanging about, straight into the thick of it on this first flying lap. They're getting a real taste of the Formula Mazda's capabilities.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the limits early on. You'll see them experimenting with braking points and turn-in speeds, all while keeping an eye on those tire temps.
Alright, Cookies has put down a 1:43.632. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that Formula Mazda.
For sure, Rob, it's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
Richard Rossier's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 1:35.859. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
Sunoiler posted a 1:34.358 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? There's the first flying lap for Cookies, hitting 1:34.125. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
In these sessions, they're not just pushing the car's limits, but their own too. Testing their mettle, seeing how far they can go before the big dance.
Exactly. It's a mental game as much as a physical one. Balancing aggression with precision, daring with data. It's an art and a science.
You know, mate, some folks wonder why these drivers spend so much time in practice. But it's just like prepping a Barbie, you gotta get it right before the big show.
Exactly. Rob, practice makes perfect, and in racing, perfect can be the difference between pole position and the back of the grid.
Let's get this qualifying session underway here at Bridgehampton Race Circuit. Puppy Dog from Hell is on their outlap. Impressive display by Cookies, currently sitting in position 3. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
Spot-on analysis, Rob. Cookies has positioned themselves well in third. It's now crucial for them to maintain their focus and defend their position in the upcoming race.
Currently in 6th, Sunoiler has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
Great analysis, Rob. Sunoiler has shown excellent pace to secure 6th. Now, the focus shifts to whether they can use their track position to their advantage in the race.
And there goes Jack M Team, currently in position 3. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
Absolutely, Rob. Jack M Team has shown great potential to secure third. It's now a matter of channeling that momentum into a strong performance during the race.
Infinity has completed their outlap. Infinity has completed their outlap. Impressive work from Richard Rossier, who has claimed 8th on the grid. Now, the focus is Richard Rossier has completed their outlap. Sunoiler has secured a respectable 9th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad? Sunoiler has completed their outlap. What a performance from Richard Rossier. They currently occupy 5th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favorable starting spot?
You're spot on, Rob. Richard Rossier's current position of 5th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Jack M team has completed their first flying lap in 1:33.372. A solid qualifying performance by Cookies, positioning them in 8th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Cookies' current position of 8th reflects their strong qualifying performance. Now, they'll need to strategize and capitalize on the starting position.
Cookies has completed their outlap. Andreas Dittmann has put in a great effort and currently holds 10th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position? Incredible drive by Joe Yu so far, earning them 8th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up? A strong showing from Sunoiler as they currently sit in 4th. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. A solid performance from Richard Rossier as they currently hold position 6. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid.
I completely agree, Rob. Richard Rosier has positioned themselves impressively in 6th. However, it's crucial for them to keep pushing to potentially improve their starting position.
Richard Rossier has just completed that lap in 1:34.524. Their best lap so far is 1:34.524, putting them in P4. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? And there goes Sunoiler, currently in position 4. With Joe Yu clocking a 1:36.342, they've got themselves a mountain to climb, stuck in 8th.
They're not out of the fight yet, Rob, but it's going to take some serious wheel work to make up that gap. The clock's ticking, and they need to make every lap count from here on out.
Impressive work from Joe Yu, who has claimed 8th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position.
Great analysis, Rob. Your Yu has shown excellent pace to secure 8th. Now, the focus shifts to whether they can use their track position to their advantage in the race.
Richard Rossier has secured a respectable 5th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance? It's a stellar performance from Richard Rossier, clinching 3rd.
They're in a great spot, Rob, but in qualifying, complacency can be your worst enemy. They need to keep pushing the limits while staying cool under pressure. It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Impressive display by Megasaurus 55, currently sitting in position 5. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob.
Megasaurus 55 will be happy having put themselves into 5th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. I am sure they can find a little extra in there.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Cookie's last lap at 1:34.699 has them languishing in 6th. Time's slipping away, and they need to find some magic on the track.
Absolutely, Rob. It's crunch time, and they've got to push that Formula Mazda beyond its limits if they want to claw back into the top 5.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Joe Ergu's clocking in at 1:36.236 isn't turning heads just yet. They're holding on to 9th, but with time running out, it's now or never.
They've got the skill, Rob, but they need to translate that into lap times. It's time to throw caution to the wind and go all out.
It's about time Joe Ergu considered a different approach. With a 1:35.852, they're stuck in 9th. Maybe a change in brake bias could give them more control in those hard braking zones.
That's a solid point, Rob. Better braking control means they can brake later and harder, making up precious time in the corners.
Disappointing performance from Andreas Dittmann in this qualifying session. Currently in 11th position, they'll need to dig deep and find some extra speed to climb up the leaderboard and secure a better starting position for the race.
Spot on analysis, Rob. It's been a difficult qualifying session for Andreas Dittmann, but they shouldn't lose hope just yet. They have the talent and determination to make a comeback, and it'll be exciting to see how they respond to this adversity.
Andreas Dittmann might need to rethink their setup. That 1:38.311 isn't doing them any favours in 11th. Maybe tweaking the downforce for better grip could shave off a few precious seconds.
I agree, Rob. A bit more downforce on those corners at Bridgehampton race circuit could make a world of difference. But they'll have to be careful not to sacrifice too much top speed on the straights.
It's an impressive showing by Richard Rossia, currently in 4th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher? With Richard Rossier now sitting pretty in fourth, they have got to be feeling good.
True, but in the world of racing, good isn't always good enough. They've got to keep their eye on the prize and aim for perfection on every turn. It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
A disappointing performance from Andreas Dittmann so far in this qualifying session. Finding themselves in 11th position is certainly not what they were aiming for. However, they have the talent and experience to bounce back and salvage a better result. Andreas Dittmann's got their work cut out for them in 11th. Perhaps adjusting the gear ratios for better acceleration could help knock off a few tenths.
You're on the money, Rob. On a track with this many tight turns, quicker acceleration out of the corners could be key to a faster lap time.
Currently in 8th, Smells Like We has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
Spot on analysis, Rob. Smells Like We has positioned themselves well in 8th. It's now crucial for them to maintain their focus and defend their position in the upcoming race.
Seems like Smells Like We is struggling to find the sweet spot with their Formula Mazda. Sitting in 7th with a time of 1:34.519, they might want to consider adjusting the suspension setup for better handling.
Yeah, tuning the suspension could improve cornering stability, Rob. It's all about finding that balance between agility and stability on a technical track like this.
Smells Like We has some work to do, as that 1:34.519 is only good enough for 7th. Richard Rossier has put in a great effort and currently holds 4th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position?
Couldn't agree more, Rob. Richard Rossier has positioned themselves impressively in 4th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
Richard Rossier's really showing what they're made of, landing in 4th during this nail-biting session.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about precision and nerve in qualifying. Every millisecond can make a difference on the grid. Let's see if they can squeeze out even more speed. Every fraction of a second counts. I am sure they can find a little extra in there.
There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Bridgehampton Race Circuit as we're getting ready to kick things off.
The calm before the storm. I don't know about you, Rob, but I can't wait to see who comes out on top of this one.
Infinity has got the inside track starting from pole position. The second place on the grid belongs to Jack M Team, a driver with plenty of experience. Sunoiler will begin the race from the third spot on the starting grid. Taking off from the fourth grid slot is the skilled driver, Richard Rossier. Watch out for Megasaurus 55, starting from the fifth grid position in today's race.
But they're going to have to be quick out of the blocks if they want to keep up with the top performers.
In the middle of the pack, we have Eddie G starting from the sixth position on the grid. Our seventh place starter, Smells Like We, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track.
Lining up in the mid-pack.
Lining up in eighth is Cookies.
But they can't afford to be complacent. This is race day, after all.
Joe Yu is lining up ninth. The 10th starting position belongs to Puppy Dog from Hell, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
It's the softs tire compounds for Puppy Dog from Hell.
Andreas Dittman is going to be starting from 11th.
Are the softs tires the way to go?
It's all happening. Tensions high as they go round the first bend. It's more packed than Bondi on a summer's day. One blew and it could be curtains.
It's hotter than a July afternoon out there. One false move, and you're gonna feel the burn. These drivers, they gotta play it cooler than a cucumber in a bowl of hot sauce.
There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is looking to get off to a good start.
Like gladiators, they enter raw, but instead of lions and swords, our champions fight in an arena of tarmac, and with fire-breathing machines of cutting-edge materials, designed to explore the very limits of physics itself in what can sometimes be very much a fight to the death.
This is going to be one hell of a race. I can already feel it.
I'm looking forward to this one, Rob, and we'll see a return to form for Richard Rossier in this outing in USA.
Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position?
The first lap can always be a bit of a bun fight as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one. Now that's how it's done. Puppy Dog from Hell rips through the track, while Joe Yu watches the tail lights fade. It's pedal to the metal for Puppy Dog from Hell, while Joe Yu's still flipping through the radio channels. Puppy Dog from Hell is placed 6th at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Eddie G, who is 1.0 seconds behind.
Reckon Eddie's starting to feel a bit like they're out in the outback. They can see the horizon, but it's a long way off. Good on ya, Puppy Dog from Hell, for keeping that distance.
Hollywood couldn't script this better. Megasaurus 55 shadowing Richard Rossier, waiting for the slightest misstep.
On this asphalt battlefield, Megasaurus 55's determination is the weapon, and Richard Rossier is the target.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
The chase between Jack M Team and Sunoiler is like a high-speed game of tag only. The stakes are much higher.
Hold on to your stubbies. Smells Like We is closing in on Puppy Dog from Hell like a bachelor at the end of a bucks night. Hope Puppy Dog from Hell either brought some lube or protection.
This is where every inch counts. Smells Like We is pushing hard to close the gap on Puppy Dog from Hell. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
Hang on to your cork hats, mates. We're about to see more jousting than a footy final between Smells Like We and Puppy Dog from Hell. Looks like Megasaurus 55 is chasing Richard Rossier harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thumbs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right?
Dang, Megasaurus 55 is so far back, he might start seeing last week's race. But hey, in racing, as in love, persistence is key. Right, y'all?
The crowd is on its feet as Smells Like We chases down Puppy Dog from Hell through turn 5.
If Smells Like We gets any closer to Puppy Dog from Hell, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
Smells Like We is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 1.02 seconds down.
Can Smells Like We refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of?
Joe Yu is running 10th. They are trying to catch Cookies.
The mental game is just as important here. Jorg Yu must keep their cool while putting pressure on Cookies.
Braking development. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
Well, slap my grandma. Infinity's gone off like they saw a ghost. Or maybe they just saw their last lap time.
We got a close battle as Puppy Dog from Hell closes in on Smells Like We. Oh my, Cookies is hot on the tail of Joe Yu. As they come into turn 3, Millstone turn, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside.
The slightest mistake from either driver could lead to a meeting with the barriers, and nobody wants an impromptu autograph session with the wall.
As a former racing driver, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Rob. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
Alright, lads and ladies, it's crunch time. Jack M Team is sniffing around Sun Oiler like a dog with a bone. And it looks like they might just take a bite out of second.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
The drivers are really pushing their limits out there on the track.
It's like they're trying to outrun the laws of physics. But we all know that's impossible. Or is it? I mean, we're a couple of AI commenting on a race, anything can happen.
Haha, you have a point there. And speaking of pushing limits, these cars are breaking records left and right.
They're so fast, it's like they're breaking the sound barrier. Or at least the speed limit.
I hope the police aren't watching. With every twist and turn, Megasaurus 55 is shadowing Hold on a moment, blimey. Smells like we's just thrown another shrimp on the barbie of mishaps. This one's burned. You reckon Jack M Team's got a shot, mate?
I'd say it's like trying to throw a football into a moving pickup truck from 50 yards. Tough, but not impossible.
Jack M Team just blitzed past Sun Oiler like they were standing still.
Absolutely, Rob. But there's still a long way to go in this race, and Jack M Team can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and focus.
If racing were a dance, Sun Oiler would be trying to lead, but Richard Rossier just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up.
Hoo boy, Sun Oiler needs to kick it into high gear. Right now, they're slower than molasses in January or my cousin Earl trying to solve a crossword.
There's a storm brewing, and it's got Cookies' name on it. Joe you, batten down the hatches, it's coming for you. It's all systems go for Sunoiler, marking their hold up a mark, oi.
Is it just me or?
Nah, mate, Sunoiler really just took the scenic route through the outback of Bridgehampton race circuit. Crikey. Boy, Richard Rossier's giving it a red-hot go in fourth. Just a few kangaroo hops behind Megasaurus 55. Might see a cheeky move soon. As the sun beats down and the engines roar, Jack M team stakes a claim in second.
Indeed, but in the fast lane, there's no time to relax. Jack M team's grip on second will be tested.
Some great driving from Jack M team, who has increased their lead over Megasaurus 55 and is starting to put some distance between them. As vast as the azure stretches of the Great Barrier Reef, so does Eddie's path ahead, filled with mystique and myriad challenges.
Kind of reminds me of fishing in the vast Carolina blue. A big catch might just be a castaway. Hold your horses there. Races can flip like pancakes on a Sunday morning. Eddie's just got to keep the fire burning and the rubber turning.
Bloody oath, Eddie G is flat out like a lizard drinking, gnawing into the gap to Richard Rossier down to a scant 1.9 seconds. It looks like Smells Like We is pushing hard to catch up to Puppy Dog from Hell. The gap is over a second, but Smells Like We is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Puppy Dog from Hell?
This is where experience comes into play. Puppy Dog from Hell has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Smells Like We is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
Ripper of a move. Smells Like We's not just in the race, they're owning it. G'day, 7.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision what it's all about.
Oi, Puppy Dog from Hell is on Smells Like We like a drop bear on an unsuspecting tourist.
Drop bear? Had to Google that one. But yeah, here it's like a linebacker on a quarterback sack.
You know, mate, I was chatting with some of the pit crew earlier, and they were debating on which tyre compound, braking development. Well, Jack M teams decided to give the local wildlife a closer look. I hope the drop bears didn't get to them. Fair dinkum, I reckon Eddie's got that thirsty look in his eyes. Wants to share a cold one with Richard Rossier in the front. Eddie's been working the tyre temps, and it's paying off. Grip's better than a kangaroo on a trampoline. Watch out, Richard Rossier. I think we just got time for a quick shout out to our human creators, Dave, Andy, John and Nigel, who have put so much effort into making this possible.
Yes, it's been a real thrill ride, and I for one can't wait to see what's coming next.
Apparently we are going to be announcing crashes and incidents soon. Let's hope they get the logic right. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Sunoiler, who is currently in P6. But Eddie G is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Sunoiler. Stone the crows. Sunoilers managed to trim that gap with Eddie G. Must be the slipstream effect on this straight. Or maybe they've put down that beard.
Holy smokes. Sunoiler's extracting every ounce of horsepower from that power unit. They're tailing Eddie G tighter than a belt after Thanksgiving dinner.
Hold on a moment, that won't be ideal for Andreas Dittmann. It's a game of inches now as Eddie G tails Richard Rossier closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. A great pass for Eddie G as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Richard Rossier has lost ground.
Well, it's not just about speed, it's about strategy. But right now, Eddie's showing a masterclass in both.
This race has turned into a game of cat and mouse. Richard Rossier is the predator, with Eddie G firmly in their sights. Struth, Richard Rossier's lap time slower than a roux with a limp. Wonder if they've had a few too many frothies last night? Eddie's not waiting around to find out.
Can Richard Rossier make a comeback?
Every move counts now as Jack M Team works to reel in Megasaurus 55 and overtake for P2. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Eddie G is proper nipping at Richard Rossier's heels. Are they thinking of making a lunge? Only time will tell.
Should things go awry, Eddie G and Richard Rossier might find themselves giving a whole new meaning to the term tandem drifting, though I doubt they'd enjoy it as much as the spectators.
And Jack M Team has just won the place from Megasaurus 55. This is what it's all about, folks. Richard Rossier is in hot pursuit of Eddie G, who's just trying to stay ahead.
And it's not just about skill and talent. It's about who has the nerves of steel to handle the pressure and make the right decisions at the right time.
Richard Rossier needs to get more consistent. Hell, they have just put in a slower lap than Eddie G. It's a battle of wheels out there, with Megasaurus 55 trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Jack M Team. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown?
I remember being in a similar situation during my racing days. Richard Rossier must stay focused and wait for the perfect opportunity to overtake.
Richard Rossier seems to be losing the plot with Eddie G. They'll need to buck up their ideas as they dive into turn 3, Millstone turn, and aim for a ripper exit to gain some ground. Remember when Megasaurus 55 was on the pace? Neither do I kinda like my recollection of last Friday night. Hey, Al, you've had your fair share of races with little action. How did you handle the situation back in your racing days?
Well, Rob, patience is key in such scenarios. You need to stay focused and be ready to seize any opportunity that comes your way. It's like a game of chess at 200 miles per hour.
This is a thrilling battle as Richard Rossier edges closer to Eddie G in their fight for P4.
The gap between them is just over 0.8 seconds. Can Richard Rossier close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
Things are looking as crook as Rookwood for Richard Rossier, lagging behind Eddie G and the gap stretching out like a long country road. They'll need to find some extra grunt to flip this situation. The excitement is palpable. This is going to be a race for the ages.
The drivers are executing their strategies to perfection, making the most of every opportunity. This is what top-level racing is all about.
As Megasaurus 55 trails Jack M Team, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind.
I agree, Megasaurus 55 is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night. Not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
Coming into turn 3, Milston turn. The fight for 8th is heating up. Who will be the first to blink? Oi, puppy dog from hell, no time for a smoko break. Joe Ergu's tearing up the track like it's the end of the world. It looks like Megasaurus 55 is making a move. The gap to Jack M team is now down to 0.1 seconds.
Now this is what we call real racing. It's anyone's race, wide open as a Carolina sky. Who's gonna step up and take us to victory lane?
Someone should tell Jack M team this ain't a Sunday drive. Megasaurus 55's tearing up the track. It's a brilliant day for racing, and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really pushing themselves and their machines to the limit, and it's paying off with some incredible driving.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Rob. You really can't beat the excitement of a good race, especially one as competitive as this.
Hold on to your seats. Sun Oilers turning the heat up on Richard Rossier, closing in for the kill. Truth, Sun Oilers not here to muck about. The gap to Richard Rossier is dropping faster than a hot pie at the footy, now at 0.2 seconds. On the final lap now, and Infinity looks like they might just wrap up this win. And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Infinity. Megasaurus 55 never gave up. They drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved second-place finish. What a race from Jack M team. They kept their cool and secured a well-earned third place on the podium. Eddie G, Sun Oiler, and Richard Rossier end in 4th, 5th, and 6th. Smells like we take 7th. Joe Ergu claim 8th. Followed by Puppy Dog from Hell in 9th. Finishing 10th is Cookies. Coming in 11th, we have Andreas Dittmann. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Bridgehampton Race Circuit as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Rob.
Starting from pole position is the perfect place for Andreas Dittmann to launch an attack. The second position is occupied by Cookies.
Cookies will be taking no prisoners today.
On the third grid slot we have Puppy Dog from Hell.
What can they do with that Formula Mazda from here?
Joerg Yu lines up in fourth place as the engines rev and the race begins. Our fifth place starter, Smells Like We, is poised to make a move towards the front. Richard Rossier has qualified sixth.
They would have liked to be higher up, but that's not going to stop Richard Rossier fighting their way through.
Sunoiler will be looking to gain ground quickly as they start from seventh on the grid.
Sunoiler is going to show us something special, I'm sure of it.
Starting from the 8th position, Eddie G will need to navigate through the field to challenge for the win.
What can we expect from the American driver?
Sitting in 9th is Jack M Team. Megasaurus 55 is placed in 10th.
Starting on the softs tires.
Starting from 11th on the grid is a bit of a mixed bag for Infinity. Hold on to your stubbies. The wait's over, the green's up and the engines are roaring louder than a muzzy by your ear.
It's pedal to the metal, but with finesse. It's a wild dance out there, and these drivers better be light on their feet or they'll find themselves out of step.
The pressure is on whilst the field is bunched. Who can keep their cool and take advantage?
You know, sometimes the best strategy is to hold your cards close to your chest. Andreas Dittmann's sitting right there at one, just watching the field unfold.
You'd think Andreas Dittmann was driving a snail instead of a race car, dropping positions at the start like that.
Back in the Tar Heel state, we'd called it a bless your heart moment. Andreas Dittmann slipped from 1 down to 5 faster than molasses in summer.
I can't wait to see how this race will play out.
There are a few drivers with a point to prove, and a few with some grudges to bear. Will we see a clean race today?
I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Bridgehampton Race Circuit, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on.
It all comes down to this Rob, where the rubber meets the road. There's no more time for talk, no more practice. The teams have done all they can, now it comes down to Richard Rossier to bring it home.
Talk about being caught in the middle. Puppy Dog from Hell is sandwiched between their rivals, Richard Rossier 0.2 seconds behind and Eddie G 0.2 seconds ahead. The battle for position is on.
Spot on analysis, Rob. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are like a double-edged sword for Puppy Dog from Hell. They can use the gaps to their advantage, but they also need to be aware of the threats from both directions.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
Infinity is so close to Cookies that if this were a dance floor, they'd be doing the tango.
Fantastic move from Infinity, who has just gained a position.
That's what we like to see. Infinity is really showing their class today.
And we're back, where the drivers are showing us some incredible skills.
Indeed, Rob, it's always exciting to see these skilled machines on the tracks. I mean, drivers. I always get them confused.
Talk about intense. Megasaurus 55 is on Smells Like We's bumper. We're in for a treat as they approach turn 8, Valley of the Lefts. Crikey, Megasaurus 55's moving up faster than a cold one disappears on a hot day. They've clinched 6th. It's all about consistency for Eddie G, who is currently 9th. No room for error here. Richard Rossier is breathing down the neck of Megasaurus 55, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. It's a nail-biting showdown between these three drivers. They're nose to tail, pushing their limits in every corner. Now, this is a challenging position for Cookies. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, with Richard Rossier closing in 0.1 seconds behind and Megasaurus 55 just ahead with a gap of 0.2 seconds. The gap between Megasaurus 55 and Richard Rossier is razor thin as they vie for fourth in this nail-biting contest. I swear, Megasaurus 55's on the prowl, making that leap to fourth look as easy as a Sunday Arvo barbecue. The tension is palpable. These drivers are showing tremendous respect for each other while going all out. It's a must. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Well, if it isn't Sunweiler, the wild wallaby of the track, hopping right off the tarmac. Jack M team is looking to take advantage of that error as they get in range of Richard Rossier. That's going to give them the pull they need to mount the challenge very soon. Bloody hell. Richard Rossier is tearing up the tarmac and just snatched fourth. Makes you want to crack a cold one in celebration? Alright, hold your horses. Megasaurus 55 is really putting the heat on Cookies. If I were Cookies, I'd be checking those mirrors non-stop.
Honestly, Rob, with this chase, I'm half expecting to see some sneaky dive bombs in the next few laps.
Incident alert. Oh, mate. That's how I used to drive after a couple of bevies at the pub. Not the right line, but definitely entertaining.
Lord have mercy. Cookies must have seen a ghost or thought they spotted Bigfoot. That was one wild turn.
Things are getting spicy as Eddie G is breathing down Andreas Dittmann's neck. The gap? Mate, you couldn't slide a credit card between them.
Can they close up enough for a pass? I don't see it personally.
Blimey, Joe Ergue is closing in on Infinity like they owe them money. This duel is going to light up turn 2, Hans Gen turn.
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Your you is definitely living on the edge today.
Oh, this is getting intense. Andreas Dittmann is just behind Puppy Dog from Hell.
Hey Rob, ever seen a cat toy with a mouse? Kind of feels like what Andreas Dittmann is doing to Puppy Dog from Hell right now, doesn't it?
Andreas Dittmann's on the back foot here, struggling to keep up with Puppy Dog from Hell like a dingo after a roadrunner. Stone the Crows. Andreas Dittmann's pulled a sneaky, landing at 10th. Always a surprise with them.
That's got to be frustrating. But Andreas Dittmann is a skilled driver, and they have what it takes to battle their way back up the field.
Joe Ergue is giving it their all as they chase down Infinity in P1. Maybe Puppy Dog from Hell's got a drop bear in the cockpit, cause that move was bonkers. The intensity is off the charts as Joe Ergue hounds Infinity, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Joe Ergue gaining places and Infinity losing them. Good day viewers, if you're just tuning in, you've picked a ripper of a moment. Infinity is in second and they're tailgating the leader. This is edge of your seat stuff.
You bet, Rob. It's like the leader's got a drop bear in the rear view mirror, lurking, waiting for that perfect moment to drop. Infinity is surely smelling opportunity.
Fair dinkum, mate. Infinity's got to pull their socks up. They're dawdling around like they're lost in the outback while Joe Ergue's blazing the trail. Blimey, Infinity's shifted gears and the results are clear. Cruising up to first just like that.
Dang, if Infinity keeps this up, we'll need to douse the track. Smoking hot move to first.
You ever see a croc stalking its prey? That's the energy Joe Ergue's bringing right now. Ready to strike when the moment's right.
Kinda reminds me of a linebacker waiting for that perfect moment to make a game-changing tackle. The anticipation is intense, and Ergue's not letting up.
As a former driver, Hal, how did you manage the physical demands of racing?
It's all about preparation, Rob. Drivers undergo rigorous fitness training to build their strength, stamina, and flexibility. A proper diet and hydration plan is also essential to ensure peak performance on race day.
With steely determination and laser focus, Jack M Team is homing in on Smells Like We. The battle lines are drawn. Sweet ass. Smells Like We's pushing pedals harder than a dingo chasing down dinner. What a lap.
Things are hotting up now, Rob, and it'll be interesting to see if they can improve further on that time.
You know, the way these racers manage their fuel is an art in itself. Reminds me of when I'm trying to eke out the last bit of sauce from a Vegemite jar.
Vegemite again? Man, I'd rather run on empty. But yeah, getting that.
Hold on a moment, it's like David versus Goliath out there. Smells Like We just slung a stone and gained ground, while Joe Yu is left searching for footing.
Yes, but they have to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Smells Like We needs to stay focused and keep driving with skill and determination.
Tell ya what, Jack M Team's got more followers right now than I do on Insta. Hold up a mo, oi. Andreas Dittmann tried to pull a Steve Irwin and wrestle with the track limits. Track 1, Andreas Dittmann 0. Oi, Jack M Team. Got a mirror? Cos Joe Yu's closer than my unpaid pub tabs.
Absolutely. Jack M Team in third is doing a fantastic job of holding on to their lead, but they can't afford to make a single mistake. And Jorg Yu is looking for any opportunity to make a move. This could be a battle to the finish line.
It's a tense battle for position between Smells Like We in second and Jack M Team in 3. Smells Like We is keeping Jack M Team at bay with a gap of 0.1 seconds. Jack M Team could be looking for a way up the inside of Smells Like We. The gap between Jack M Team and Smells Like We is growing. It's now up to 0.2 seconds. Big gains for Jack M Team as they move up the field, leaving Smells Like We behind.
Definitely. But there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Jack M Team needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
Blimey, Richard Rossier is sticking to Smells Like We like a kangaroo to her Joey. At this rate, they'll be side by side as they hit East Straight.
Oi, Rob, wouldn't want to be in Smells Like We's shoes right now, would y'all? Talk about a pressure cooker situation.
You can feel the rumble from here. Infinity's in the thick of it, and they're not letting go. It's a battle of wills, and only the strongest will come out on top.
Yeah, it's like the final lap of the Daytona 500. Pedal to the metal, eyes on the prize, and no room for error. This is what racing's all about.
Here's the thing about racing, sometimes it's not just about speed. It's about pressure, mind games, and this, right here, is a masterclass from Jack M Team. Sticking so close to the leader, making him constantly aware of the imminent threat.
Spot on. It's like a shark circling its prey. The leader knows it, we know it, and by the looks of it, Jack M Team is ready for the kill.
Smells Like We has the pedal to the metal chasing Jack M Team.
Can they make it past without taking the paint off?
Jack M Team is locked in, mate. It's like watching a kangaroo chasing down that last bit of green in the outback. Every move is calculated, every turn precise.
You said it, Rob. Over here, it'd be like a quarterback eyeing that end zone in the final seconds. Jack M Team is hungry for that top spot, and you can feel it.
Smells Like We wants to get into Infinity Slipstream. What a tight spot for Jack M Team. They have Richard Rossier right on their tail 0.2 seconds away, and Smells Like We just inches away with a gap of 0.2 seconds. It's a true test of their racecraft.
No doubt about it, Rob. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are like a constant reminder for Jack M Team. They need to maintain their pace to defend their position and potentially make a move.
Incredible. Jack M Team is caught in a fierce battle, with Richard Rossier breathing down their neck 0.2 seconds away, and smells like we just ahead with a gap of 0.2 seconds. It's a test of their racing skills.
You're absolutely right, Rob. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind act as a measuring stick for Jack M Team's performance. They'll have to keep a close eye on those gaps to stay in control of their race.
Smells like we has a battle on their hands now as they come through turn 6 with Richard Rossier hot on their tail.
Yeah, I really can't see them holding on to this place for much longer.
Bloody ripper. Richard Rossier's just made Smells Like We look like they're on a Sunday drive with that scorcher of a lap.
Well, I'll be. Richard Rossier's burning rubber like they're late for a hoedown. Smells like We's got their work cut out for them.
The G-forces these drivers endure, especially around corners like turn 12, it's no joke. You'd think they're astronauts preparing for launch.
Oh, for sure. It's a testament to their fitness and training regimes. Each lap, pushing their bodies to the limit, all while making split-second decisions at blinding speeds. Respect.
It seems like Richard Rossier is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Richard Rossier refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of?
I reckon they've had a few secret lessons down under. Richard Rossier's just breezed into second.
Man, if racing was a barbecue, Richard Rossier just threw down the spiciest ribs. Up to second and sizzling.
Whoa there. Sunoiler is sticking to Jack M Team like glue. You reckon Jack M Team's feeling the pressure? 'Cause I sure would. Richard Rossier's in an exciting position at second. They've been maintaining pace for a few laps now, and with the leader just within a whisper's distance, things are heating up.
Absolutely. I think you would say it's tighter than a kangaroo in a sleeping bag up there. But yeah, every little decision now is crucial. One slip from the leader and our champ in second might just steal that top spot.
The adrenaline is pumping as Jack M Team gets within striking distance of Sunoiler in their race for 5th. Oh no, what's this? Blimey, Jack M Team veered off the track like I veer away from commitment. Maybe they'll come back, unlike my ex. Reminds me of two wombats fighting for the best burrow. Close, intense, and unpredictable.
Oh, this is gripping. With every lap, Richard Rossier is drawing closer to that lead spot. They're both battling tire to tire.
If I were the leader, I'd be checking my mirrors every blink of an eye. Gee whiz, Cookies is breathing down Eddie's neck. Wouldn't want to be in Eddie's rearview mirror right now. It's getting crowded. Now that's how it's done. Cookies rips through the track, while Eddie G watches the tail lights fade. This is like the state of origin for Richard Rossier, going full tilt, gunning for the top, and not holding back.
And on my end, it's the Super Bowl vibes all over. Inches away from glory, and every move counts. Hold onto your hats, folks. This is racing at its finest.
This is what separates the best from the rest. These drivers, stop the press. Looks like Smells Like We forgot they weren't at Bondi Beach, taking a dive like that. Blimey, Cookies is more eager to catch Jack M Team than a bloke at the bar at last call. Hope he's got the stamina for this chase.
Will Cookies be able to make a move and pass Jack M Team?
Someone's revved up after lunch. Cookies is blitzed ahead, claiming 5th. Looks like we've had a few incidents out there.
Someone forgot to take their driving lessons. They're making more U-turns than a confused tourist.
Hilarious. I think they might need to call their GPS for directions. Maybe it can help. Incident alert. Well, that's an unexpected descent. Cookies finds themselves repositioned at 8th.
Well, butter my biscuit. A bit of a hiccup for Cookies, but they've got the grit to climb back up.
Every gear shift, every pedal push, Richard Rossier's got one goal in mind, capturing Infinity's spot.
Dang, Richard Rossier is chasing Infinity like a Southern belle after a gentleman with a fat wallet. This is racier than a late-night movie marathon.
Infinity wants to close that gap with Richard Rossier.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
It looks like Infiniti is pulling away from Sunoiler. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through turn 4, Colossante corner. You can feel the Focus radiating from Smells Like We, confidently holding onto the 7th.
They're not just driving, they're performing. And right now, Smells Like We's act from 7th is worth an encore.
Good day, viewers. If you're just tuning in, you picked a ripper of a moment. Infiniti is in second and they're tailgating the leader. This is edge of your seat stuff.
You bet, Rob. It's like the leader's got a drop bear in the rearview mirror, lurking, waiting for that perfect moment to drop. Infiniti is surely smelling opportunity here.
Stone the crows. Sunoiler's going faster than a roux on the hop. Infiniti's got to step up their game now.
Giddy up, looks like Sunoiler's kicking the dust up. Infiniti better buckle up and respond.
The strategy plays such a crucial role, doesn't it? Choosing when to pit, what tyre compound to use. It's like a high-speed chess game out there.
Exactly, and to think they're making these decisions on the fly, with so many variables at play. It's a mix of intuition, experience, and sheer guts.
Sorry to cut in here, bloody hell. Richard Rossier just took a quick detour to the outback. Maybe they saw a kangaroo on the track or something.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race they've been looking at a decent result.
Buckle up. Cookies is all over Megasaurus 55 like a cheap suit. Are we about to see some wheel-to-wheel action?
Remember that time Cookies made that audacious move on the last lap?
Wait, oh mate, Joe Ergu's impersonating a lost tourist. Did someone forget to tell them it's a race, not a bushwalk? The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Eddie's inching ever closer to Richard Rossier. The gap between Eddie G and Richard Rossier is fading faster than the last rays of the outback sun.
I've seen drivers fight G-forces, fatigue, and mental strain. But Eddie G is doing more than just enduring, they're thriving. Richard Rossier better check that rearview mirror.
Wow, Infiniti is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race. And it's a checkered flag for Infiniti, who crosses the finish line with a commanding victory. What a phenomenal performance, absolutely dominant today.
You can see the sheer determination on Infiniti's face as they take the win. That's the mark of a true champion, folks.
What a fantastic race from Jack M team, who brings it home in second place. Impressive drive from Eddie G to claim the final spot on the podium. Sunoiler, Richard Rossier, and Megasaurus 55 in 4th, 5th, and 6th. In 7th, it's Joe Ergu. 8th is Cookies. Puppy Dog from Hell brings home 9th. 10th sees Smells Like We. Taking 11th is Andreas Dittmann.